You are now entering the box. Welcome back, everybody. Podcast. I don't even know what episode we're on here. Been slacking a little bit. Just like I said last time, man, busy trying to get this new building going. New employees hired, new intern. But today we have my accountant, Jason Shields, joining us. Jason, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me. Or maybe I should say it's about damn time.
Does a lot more than accounting, though. Definitely local business owner. You want to share some of the things going on here that you got going on around town?
Yeah, I moved to Springfield about 4 years ago. Started my accounting firm up in Peoria, and then I expanded down here. And so after I started that, I got connected with some people in different businesses. So now I'm a part owner of the SmallCakes here in Springfield. Have one in Champaign as well. Have one down in Florida. Just opened a brand new restaurant here in Springfield called IC BBQ about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
so
delicious.
things have been going really good with it. Getting a lot of good reviews. People are loving the food, loving Ira's recipes. So
yeah, what prompted the move from Peoria to Springfield?
Initially it was just I couldn't find work up there. So in the beginning, when I was starting my business, I was still working for somebody and then just kind of supplementing it until I grew a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
I never knew if I was going to go only into it, but
Right.
it just grew, more than I imagined. I couldn't find work up there. And so
Got here and realized everybody's shit was messed up.
yeah, I mean, I came down here and I was in, I started working at IDOT. IDOT was where I was at.
Oh, okay.
And so I was working there. I did a few other kind of freelance jobs. And also I was kind of learning my craft as I'm working for these other people, learning different things to make my business stronger.
Right.
So then I moved down here and kind of like, well, I have business in two cities. So it kind of just, it's not, nobody's ever considered me to be normal. But I mean, the Peoria side and then coming to Springfield, I've been able to grow them both, and they're not that far apart. It's about a 1 hour drive, so
Right.
I was used to that. So
Yeah, people like in Chicago do that every day.
yeah,
I was always scared of any kind of commute just because there's so much time, only so much time in the day. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But after we moved out to Sherman, I got like a 15-minute drive every day, and I don't mind it. It kind of allows me to get my head straight, think about what I got to do for the day,
yeah,
and just kind of get in the zone. Whereas before, I just lived down the street, literally like a couple minutes. So driving
Yeah.
here was like, all right, I'm there, and I'm like, it's time to go. You know what I mean? So it's a little different, but I actually like it. I don't mind it.
Well, and the windshield time can be challenging. I try to minimize it as much as I can because if I'm in the car, I'm not working.
Right.
Well, I technically still am. I mean, I get phone calls. I mean,
Yeah.
you've been
It's a
on the
good time
phone with
to
me
knock
when I'm in
those
the
out.
car.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Good time to knock out the phone calls.
Yeah.
So when did you officially start Shields Accounting then?
June of 2015.
Okay.
So I did it as kind of just like on the side out of my house. Like, okay, if I don't like doing this, then I don't have any overhead. If it doesn't work, again, don't have any overhead. I can shut it down, but it just grew beyond my belief. I've said it so many times. Like I sit here 6 years next month and I'm like, I can't believe where I'm at in just 6 years.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show if you provide people a service, a value that they don't have elsewhere, and that's kind of what I did.
For sure.
Is I'm always available. I'm never not, so people can have texted me in the middle of the morning before, call me at 10 at night about
I
things.
definitely talk to you all the time.
Yeah. So I offer a valued service that you maybe don't see at other firms where they shut the doors at 5.
Yeah.
The response time to 24 hours or less response time under most circumstances, cost effective. Just in that first year, I was researching what are other people doing and what can I bring to the table that's better.
Yeah. That's what you got to do.
So it's value and cost, I think, are really the two main contributing factors there, and that's the nucleus of everything else. I wouldn't have been able to buy anything else without that. And I got into SmallCakes because of Jody, and
Who was a customer, right?
he was a client,
Or client, yeah.
and I basically told him, I said, I can make this better.
So
So he
you
put
want
his
to work together on this.
he put his stock into me, and I did things like got you involved, and we've been able to basically almost double our revenue from one year to the next on that. I do more of the cost control, obviously.
Yeah.
being more aggressive and involved with the vendors and things like that to make sure we're only spending what we should be spending. So it's a combination of both those things that have really flipped the game.
Yeah.
For that or any business, I feel like my business model is consistent for any type of business I open.
Yeah, and really it should. I mean, it's a working model, you know what I mean? That's how kind of business should be. It's interesting though, like it's definitely hard to have like a start a business on your own, I should say.
Yeah.
Especially if you've never done it before. I had some experience when I started Ootbox in just business or, random freelance stuff, but you just don't really have someone to ask like, oh, should we do this? Or like, hash it out with. So, or, and you had owned a business. So, and that was Jody's first business technically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, SmallCakes. If nobody's tried SmallCakes, those things are good.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's anybody in Springfield left who hasn't had one, but
yeah, I wouldn't think so.
I mean, but and just leading to that point, I have ventured into with some people the business consulting aspect outside of the regular accounting world is just like business models,
right? And
how can I help you maximize your profits?
For sure.
Even if somebody doesn't have me as their accountant, there's always little tidbits and points.
Yeah.
And so I've kind
of
rolled
funny,
into.
Though? We kind of do that too. Like, with the marketing side, we're like giving tips on stuff that's not even marketing. Well, I'm like, oh, this is my business.
Yeah. So a lot of times somebody, when they first get started, if they come to me right off the bat, we make sure that things get done right off the bat.
That's what I always say to them. Like, it's so much better if I'm there from the beginning, so I could just make sure the branding's on point and everything. Yeah.
But on the same token, there are people who have to come to me that are already a mess or were given the wrong direction or whatever. And that works just as well too. I mean, it costs a little bit more money up front because you're doing forensic work and cleaning stuff up. It's always hard to clean than to do it right the first time. But I mean, that all pulls together good too. So I mean, they're just happy that they're with me and they see the difference from what they had before versus what they have now.
Right. So much easier. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
I only left one of the Red Bulls in there.
Appreciate it. Let's see here. We had a little delivery, some waters. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Where are we at? Sorry, interruption there. It's definitely from the beginning if you can kind of get involved and help somebody. But you got both scenarios. This is what you got to deal with. So you got SmallCakes in Springfield, Champaign, and Destin. So the Champaign one was part of.
That was already open, yeah. So Jody had Springfield and Champaign both open at the time. Actually, I came in right. It was in process, but it hadn't opened for a few. It was a couple months away from opening.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, there was no going back from it. But we turned both into a very strong, profitable mechanism overall. Yeah. And then I've just kind of taken that for anything else that came along. Everything that's come along to me, it's not been me looking for it. It's just kind of. I evaluate a business decision and determine whether I want to get into it or not.
Meant to be.
And then basically, I have people who have the confidence and belief in me now that you had Mario on the show. Mario's one of them. He's like, anything you do, I want in.
Right.
So, it's just cutting that level. And it's not to sound arrogant. It's just like I've proven to people that I can make businesses profitable. And so they know that I can help them return their money. They're always clients or people that I've already worked with for 3 or 4 years. And then...
some people just don't get, even with the advertising thing, like, I think I remember when I had first talked to Jody, and honestly, a lot of customers, they don't understand that you have to spend money on advertising to grow your business. And people are scared to do that sometimes. Yeah. But I mean, you have the experience that that you have to do that.
Yeah, because I've been working, not only even before when I worked with you, but just in general. One thing that laid the groundwork for my accounting and how I was able to grow how I did, I really feel like is in my previous life, so to speak, I worked in so many different industries. I mean, I've managed retail. I've worked in restaurants. I've done sales at cable companies. Like a lot of the different things that I did there, I kept in my brain. Yeah. And so it helps me understand industries of other people.
For sure.
And being a manager at a business, learning about advertising and marketing, I know what you do was going to work. And I use that, and I honestly, kind of most times when I talk to people about you and they throw up if they throw up a brick wall, I probably get more pissed off than you do about it. But I mean,
Yeah, it's funny. Actually, I heard a good quote the other day. Let me see if I could pull this out. It kind of speaks to what you're saying there.
Yeah.
It said, where's it at here? Knowledge is like compound interest. The more you learn, the more it builds up.
Yes.
And like you're saying with all the, I think it was Warren Buffett that said that. But
be open-minded and always soak up everything. You're going to pick a little bit of something from everybody. I didn't used to feel this way, but over the last 3 or 4 years, I feel like everything happens for a reason and you meet everybody for a reason. You don't know always necessarily the first day, but sometimes it's like, case in point, Ira, my chef.
Yeah.
Met him 4 years ago, just was doing his tax return. We've been friends ever since. I learned more about him. That led me to opening IC BBQ, because who else would I have had do it?
Right.
You know, same thing. And Jamal, our service manager, same situation. Did his tax returns, met through somebody else. Everything kind of just, I look back at that, you know, those types of things. And everything, you gotta search for it. It's not gonna fall in your lap.
Right.
It's like you have to search for what do I see in this person? Why are we connected? It's like you became a client of mine, but you came to me.
Right.
I got Simply CBD.
Well, I didn't even come to you. My partners.
Well, I mean, for Ootbox.
Right, but I mean, it was just like someone simply met you at a networking thing.
Yeah,
and then we talked to you, and then
what was it? There was a Facebook page called Springfield Business Networking or something that I was on, and she reached out to me. Yeah, and then it just spiraled from there. You know, again, a lot of those things.
Connections.
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny you say quotes, and Dennis. My attorney, our attorney, he said to me, he gave me a good tax quote. He said, overdoing your expenses, over reporting your expenses will get you a fine. Not reporting your income will get you jail time. Which is true. Right. It's like, always report all your income, but if you want to be a little bit aggressive on expenses, if you have an argument for it and you feel you're right about it, don't be afraid to do it. Right. You know, that's what I always
What happens if somebody, do you just have to pay it back? Like, say you get audited and they're like, oh, this wasn't an expense.
It's kind of like a slap on the wrist. If you ever get audited and they look at it and you give them their argument, they don't agree, they'll say, okay, well, yeah, it's where they really hit you hard is on negligence versus interpretation. If you literally are doing something you know damn well is not right. Like, I mean, if you're
purposely trying to avoid something.
Oh, I have a will negotiation that I'm doing personally, but I did it as a business expense. Yeah. They know you knew damn well that was not supposed to be there. But if if it's a level of interpretation, this is a business vehicle or it's not, or, different. There's different levels of interpretation. I tell my clients the same thing. There's either an absolutely not, yeah, possibly, or a definite yes. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried. I heard or I read they're supposed to be amping up. And I mean, obviously, my stuff's all fine, but just the pain in the ass of going through it. I heard they're supposed to be amping up, like, audits on small businesses or something.
In general, they audit less people than they ever have. But sometimes they change their focuses to here or there. And I always tell especially my clients is don't worry about an audit. The word audit scares people, but if you've done everything right, there's nothing to worry about. Yeah.
Okay. So peace of mind. I'll be like, just talk to him.
Yeah.
I give you permission to talk to him. I don't want to mess with him.
Yeah. Well, I just went through with a client an audit for unemployment, state unemployment. They ask for everything, and one of their like kind of little stupid rules is if somebody isn't licensed as a contractor or anything like that, then they have to report it as wages on unemployment insurance. And it was like $290 worth of what they paid him. He just came in and did some like fix some lights or something. Yeah. And so I talked to her today. We finalized everything, and I said, just report the $290 under that, and I'll pay for it if I have to, because ultimately, what are we talking about? 2% of $290? Right. Not even. I think he was like less than 1% rate, and so it came out to like a $2 liability. She said, honestly, they're probably not even going to send it for it. So
here's your check for $2, lady.
Well, it was just trivial because Illinois unemployment has different rules than other things sometimes. Which is that's typical. But I mean, again, when you do audits, as long as we have everything in order and as long as you're communicating with me everything, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah. How complicated have things been with all this PPP and extending taxes and different rules and just everything with the COVID and whatnot. Seems like it's probably put a little extra stress on you time wise and
yeah. Well, and I've said it numerous times, but it really does ring true. As I basically have had a 17-month tax season at this point, because it never really ended last year with. Things got pushed back and then people were late with things and everything was behind schedule. But the PPP learning, the first one came out, it was like learning and trying to figure it out. I'm getting asked all the questions that I don't always have the answers to. The EIDL loan, all of the changes. Then you come into this year, I'm in January and I'm still doing 2019 returns.
Yeah.
So I've been getting schedules throughout the year. And then after July, I had the business extensions for people who didn't have their stuff together because of the situation of it. I'm still doing returns in October, November of last year, big business returns. So it really never stopped.
Yeah.
And then we get into this tax season, and then they're throwing speed bumps in the middle of the season, literally.
Right.
So people are asking me questions about that, like with the whole unemployment not being considered taxable, and the new COVID rules, and things didn't get pulled in right away. Yeah. So it's like, again, I'm supposed to have the answers for everything, but it's not always true. It's like I'll tell you when I know.
Right.
But,
got to stay on top. Yeah, now it's probably more challenging than ever to stay on top of it. With things changing
well,
as
and
fast
they just
as
put
they
out,
are, and then administration changing, and it's like.
Well, today what is today? The 14th, 13th.
I think so. 13th.
So they literally came out with a communication today where the IRS is toying with extending the date again, and I'm like,
from the 17th.
I'm like 4 days before it's due, really, and so.
Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah. And then one communication where,
and then everyone's going to be like, "Oh, let's just wait."
Well, that's why I don't know if you saw my post on that where I said basically,
I'm not telling you.
I'm not telling you if the date is extended because that just means I'm working longer.
Yeah, we're getting this done.
You're going to get it done now, and that's.
And that's funny.
So,
and me, me, because I'm always like, let's just get it done. I want it. Like I just want it behind me so I know what I'm dealing with. But yeah, no. So IC BBQ just opened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, I told you this the other day, but I'm gonna reiterate it here. At the beginning, I had the food, and it was pretty good. But then I just had it the other day, and it was really good. I'm guessing it was just probably ironing out kinks.
Perfecting things, opening a brand new restaurant, how we want the recipes to flow, how Ira wants the staff to flow. I mean, we were a little bit...
And even the smoker was brand new as a different smoker that he was using.
Yeah, trying to learn out how is the most effective way to use that.
And that's got to be tough because, for a cook that's used to one way, if they get something brand new,
because you're not going to get, no two smokers are going to be exactly alike. But definitely we got that from Peoria Cookers in Peoria, and they did us really well on that. It was awesome.
Looks friggin' awesome.
Yeah, they do a lot. They do smokers all over the country.
Really?
So yeah, they are. They did the smoker for a barbecue restaurant client I have in Peoria, Slow Hand Craft Barbecue, and so they're the ones that referred them to me. And it's been awesome. They gave me a great deal on it. They delivered it for free.
Nice.
It was a really good deal.
It looks it's a beautiful.
Most
smoker.
of them they'll ship them because they said they've shipped smokers to Hawaii.
Wow.
So yeah, they're all over the country.
That's crazy. I had no idea. So Ira is the what's it called?
Pitmaster.
Pitmaster smoke. Yeah. He. How did you connect with him?
So we had a mutual friend in Peoria, and he was needing some help with some taxes. He had just come back from California. Like that year, he was doing like solar panel sales out in California.
Oh, nice.
And so he had just come back home, and he was taking care of his grandma. Came back here, helped take care of his grandma and stuff like that. And she's like, he needs help on his return, and so. That was how I first met him, and then I just, I was living in Peoria there, became friends with him, and have done his taxes ever since, talk here and there, and obviously when you become friends, you learn what people are good at and what they know, and so we got to talking about all of that, and I basically said, I'm not going to buy this restaurant or do this restaurant unless I have you running it.
So what had he worked? I know he had mentioned he'd helped open other barbecue places.
Yeah, he's been in the restaurant industry for 17 years. He's run kitchens. He actually was the main guy running the kitchen for the ballpark, minor league ballpark out in Double A Detroit Tigers team.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
So that was one of his main ones, but he's managed staffs, created. He's always had all his own recipes and things like that. So he's been doing it for 17 years, basically. Running kitchens by himself for the most part in a lot of ways. So, and
for those that don't know, IC BBQ is out on Dirksen, right next to Jimmy John's Bard Optical, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's the old Turbo Fire pizza.
Yep, right next to Hickory River. Yeah.
Yeah, across the street from like Arby's and So, it's delicious. What's your favorite there? Got a favorite?
I tell you what. I mean, it's just because of me. I really like the jerk chicken.
Yeah, I haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, the jerk chicken is really done well. As far as like sides, like I'm hooked on that fried cabbage.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I'm not a big cabbage person, but I had it and I was like, it's just awesome. Yeah.
I felt bad for my wife because I got some. I'm like, oh, you're gonna love this. You're gonna love this, and I was like, oh, it's got meat in it. She's a vegetarian.
Oh, okay.
Not exactly but man, we went there the other day with the family, and she got the salad bar and mac and cheese and mashed potato. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so we have other things like that. So like we have grilled cheese sandwiches, we have veggie burgers, we have different things we tried to put something together where there's at least a little bit of something to accommodate anybody, because
it's a good salad bar.
Give yourself an example like that is like you're going to go out to eat with dinner with the family. Well, if one person in your family is a vegetarian or a vegan, you
don't want to deter
and if
them.
we don't have anything, you're not coming to our restaurant.
Yep.
Especially if it's the wife, you're going to go where she says to go. So
my son, basically the only meat he ever eats is friggin' chicken nuggets, and I had him there. And I was eating my ribs, and I was like, "Here, you want to try some?" And he ate it, and he just kept asking for more. And I was like,
"Oh, that's a good sign." Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. I was joking around. I was like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you, eating ribs like a big boy."
Yeah.
No, they were delicious. The brisket I've had. I got some pulled pork to go with that, which actually I completely forgot. I wish I would have brought that for lunch today. But yeah, I got some pulled pork to go. Excited to try that. I love pulled pork, man. I don't know.
The pulled pork is amazing too.
Yeah, I love pulled pork. It's awesome. You guys got weekly specials. That's awesome. Gotta love that.
Daily specials
or daily specials. I mean, yeah. I know. Was it today or yesterday? Yesterday was $3 off all the ribs. That's a good discount on it. And then one thing I was super surprised about, but which is awesome, is friggin' 20% discount for veterans, nurses, first responders, so firemen, police. That's a big discount, man. When you told me to advertise that, I was like, are you sure? That's a pretty big discount. But, I mean, you can even say why you did it, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, and it was behind the purpose. It's not only is it, giving back and believing in that. I mean, I just gave a donation to the Illinois State Police on behalf of IC BBQ, too, to support them as well.
Nice.
And basically it's
get all those license plate frames.
Yeah, license plate frames and a gold plaque. Make sure they can never throw me in jail. Yeah. So I could maybe
I donated, sir.
Right. So, but that was something that I believed in, that I wanted to do from the beginning. And with being an accountant, I'm really always conscious of the costs, and I want to keep my costs, but I also try to do things for different organizations and stuff like that, like what I did for the Dancing with the Stars thing. It's like, there's advertising involved, but it's also just helping the community.
Yeah. And those that don't know, if they haven't seen my wife and I's awesome dancing episode there for Dancing with the Stars, Springfield Art Association, Jason sponsored us with Shields Accounting and SmallCakes. So that was pretty awesome. I don't remember what the total was, but overall, man, they raised a lot of money. And I think they had reduced costs also because it was a live streaming event, so they didn't have to rent out a big ballroom. And it's actually amazing. A lot of people I've talked to that are doing these live streaming events are like, that are fundraisers and stuff. They're like, they might not raise quite as much money, which in this case, I think they did raise maybe even more, when you subtract costs and, the overall, the net. Yeah. But other people we've done, even though they might not have raised quite as much, the reduced cost offsets it.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? The net is still amazing.
And one other thing that I've gotten involved in recently is I'm the vice president and treasurer of a nonprofit up near the Chicago area. It's called 22 Vets and Rec.
I remember you telling me about that.
So basically what that is it's an organization that provides healthy and active social type events for veterans to get involved in, especially ones that have like PTSD and suffering through those types of things. It helps keep their mind off of it, get active, meet other people, get more involved. Yeah. So I started helping a friend of mine up there and kind of teamed with her to do a lot of that stuff. So it's basically, if you just go to 22 Vets and Rec online, you'll see me tagged on a lot of it too. So it's there's a lot of different things out there, and she comes from a full military family and all of that.
Yeah,
so.
Man, it's crazy. You know, I've met a couple military people that I've gotten closer with that have been deployed and whatnot, and also I saw recently I watched a Joe Rogan podcast who had what was the guy's name? I can't remember, but they made a movie after him. He was a Navy SEAL, I don't know. He was a SEAL, Navy SEAL.
Okay.
And he was basically got into some shit out there. He was deployed, and it was crazy, like what they ended up going through. They made a whole movie after it, and I don't know. You know, I never really wrap my head around the stuff that they have to go through, like going over and doing that stuff. You know what I mean? And that movie definitely depicted, like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah. And I mean other ones too, but that was a true story, and it was super crazy to watch.
Well, my first full-time accounting job was for the Salvation Army in Peoria. I was in their divisional headquarters, and I was the controller basically for it's a program called SSVF, Social Services for Veterans Families, basically where you were housing homeless veterans. And so we housed a lot of homeless veterans there. So that's the first thing that really opened my eyes to it overall. Yeah. And I said, if I ever got to a certain point, I want to be involved in it again.
Yeah, I can't imagine, man, just having those memories of, I mean, no wonder, you know, so many of them have like PTS. I think they dropped the D, but PTS, you know, post-traumatic stress. I just can't even imagine being under fire, getting shot at, having to kill people. It's just, wow. We definitely need to do more for them. So that's awesome that, you know, you're doing that. But yeah, crazy. But man, I wish I could remember what that movie was called, but he was on Joe Rogan, and he was going deep into talking about like the experience, talking about how he was like so thirsty and his mouth was full of blood, and he was like he was drinking it, but it wasn't quenching his thirst. It was, I don't know, it was just crazy to hear about the way he talked about it. So now you're down in Florida.
Yes.
Still up here, but also down in Florida.
Yeah, I do a dual residency. So I have a house down in Panama City. That's where my main residence is. And then I still have a house here in Springfield. I'm up here for all of tax season for the most part, and then I come back up for a week every month to meet with my clients and stuff. So it really hasn't affected me from a business perspective. Yeah. But from a personal perspective, it's helped me because I'm not paying Illinois taxes. I don't think Pritzker will watch this. So.
Maybe no. It's, you know, typically it's a little nicer weather down there for the most part year round.
Well, and when you're more than 50% in a certain location, and that's where your residence is, that's where I'm doing most of my work. Is I can do a lot of it remotely, so my work is pretty much being done down there. Yeah. So that's kind of how it works out when you're in an industry where you have the capability to. I mean, I have clients in Texas. Several parts of Florida, California. I've gotten to the point where I'm probably going to start going to Dallas like every 3 months because I've got business clients down there now. So so it's going, and I've been able to manage it pretty well. And I've got a lot of employees under me now. I have 6 different employees that do work for me, 3 in Peoria, 1 in Springfield, and 1 with me down in Florida.
Nice. And picking up some tax clients down in Florida?
I didn't this year. I didn't do a lot down there because I knew I was going to be up here for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got
especially with the crazy year.
I've got two businesses down there that I'm starting up with. One is a restaurant down there, and another is an exotics car rental place.
Yeah.
He basically rents out like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, stuff like that. So
I will take payment in cars.
yeah. And of course, that's the area. That's where the SmallCakes is only about an hour 20 from me. So to be with all the businesses that I own, I'm basically the main figurehead when it comes down to being active with the business, like the go-to, I guess you would say, like the
problems.
What you call the footwork person, like feet in the mud type of guy. Yeah. So
that's what I've told people. I'm like,
it's like basically all the other owners are like, I'll pay in, I just want my distributions. But
yeah, and me, I'm like, as long as I can work it into my daily work here at Ootbox, I'm open to getting involved. But I was like, I cannot be like,
you can't
running anything. I'm like, I'm too busy to be dealing with any of that. But you put in place managers and stuff like that can do a lot of the day-to-day stuff. So that's nice. For those that don't know, we're partners in that Destin and SmallCakes. So if you're ever in Florida, Destin, Florida, definitely go get a cupcake. A lot of people know, on my side.
They do. Well, and a lot of people from this area travel to Destin.
Yeah, because
tour there.
So if people don't know, in Belleville, hell, you could fly there. I think it's like
depending on the time of year, like my flight. So I fly back there on the 18th. My flight back was $39.
Yeah, round trip you get like 80.
You could get it for less than $100. It depends
yeah.
when you're at. Like the most I ever paid was a little bit over $200, and that was this Mother's Day weekend coming up.
Right.
So that's just basically
prime time.
And I booked it the day before, so that was my fault.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, ultimately, 150.
Yeah.
Round trip.
It's pretty reasonable. Especially, once you have kids, you start considering, what the total cost is. But because the drive, well, Destin's not as bad. But when you start trying to travel down in the friggin' deep into Florida, man, it's crazy how long the drive gets.
Yeah.
What's next? You got anything in the pipeline? Just build these businesses, build your tax presence down there? What do you think?
I do. There's a couple of things we're working on. Possibly in the very near future, opening a SmallCakes in Peoria, so stay tuned for that. We're still working out the details, so nothing is ironclad yet. Down in Florida, I have visions on opening a gym down there, and then also in the Panama City area, and also opening a SmallCakes in Panama City. Mm-hmm. There used to be one in Panama City, but after Hurricane Michael, it got wiped out, and nothing has really been brought back up. So I have some designs on that. And this is all stuff that's like maybe 2, 3, 4 years out.
5-year plan.
Yeah. I have a list. I have on my notepad a list and I drew a line of where I'm cutting myself off.
Yeah.
Like, you get to a certain point, but what it comes down to in general is, let's say I get hurt. I'm not indisposed, but I get hurt and I can't really perform my accounting firm the way that I want to. I've got this other passive income that still rolls.
Right.
And things like that. I'm setting myself up for the future on that. And also, I take very much pride in how many people I've employed and been able to keep employed.
Right. As long as they want to friggin' work, Jesus.
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of touch base on that too. A lot of people may know or may not know, but with IC BBQ, everything's local. Everything I put into it is local. Yeah. Everything we buy is local. So the floors were done by Staff Carpet. The painting was done by a local guy, Jeff Hagan.
And the benches and tables.
Sangamon reclaimed for that, and they did a great job with those.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And
the mural.
Yeah, the mural. Ronnie, REK Services, did the mural. And I'm going to hopefully have him doing some stuff for SmallCakes on the windows, like maybe seasonal painting and things like that.
And people watching might have seen it's Ronnie we did the podcast, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes ago he was on it. So, yeah, he's good. He's a good artist, man.
Yeah.
I'll probably have him do some stuff in the new building at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, he really has passion for what he does, and he really gets excited about it. So I may have him do stuff in my house just to
just some nice Star Wars scene.
Yeah, Star Wars scene, Cubs logo, something like that.
Have you been to you have the Star Wars at Disney?
Yes.
How's that? Pretty cool.
Yeah, I built my own lightsaber there. I have it in one of my offices.
Isn't
And
that crazy?
the Millennium Falcon, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
How about the new? They just opened a new part of it, didn't they? Have you been to that yet?
Yeah, no, I have not, but hopefully, if I get a break this summer,
Yeah,
try and
I
get
wanna
down
go
there. Yeah.
Where's that? Or by Orlando?
Orlando, yep. Yeah, it's Kissimmee technically.
I've
but
never
like-
been, man. I always give my mom shit that she deprived me of childhood memories.
Yeah, well, I went as a child, but I mean, when that opened, I was there the opening weekend.
Yeah.
So it was pretty wild. It was pretty crazy that initial time.
Yeah. I can't wait to take the kids down there sometime.
Yeah, that's just also wanted to give an honorable mention to Humphreys Market too. They do. They buy all of our all our meat from them, and so that's they've done a great job.
I remember when
accommodating us
when we were working and Upbox Media to help give me the business with the branding and everything. But no, just to kind of relay to people, when when Jason started talking to me about IC, it was definitely, you emphasize, I don't know how many times, local. Like, I want it to be local stuff, local business, local, giving business to local people. And I mean, even your smoker, even though it's not in Springfield, it was still somebody that's, hour away from a town that was local to you.
Yeah, when I say local, I don't always necessarily specifically mean Springfield. I do for the most part.
For that, it was pretty much
but
Springfield,
local ultimately to me means not corporate. Somebody who
you didn't buy your smoker from Lowe's.
Yeah. right. So that's something even before you got into the COVID times and stuff. That's always been something that I've always believed that the strength of any local economy is the local businesses.
For sure. And your signage, that was your local client.
Systemax, yeah. They did.
No,
the fast signs. So Systemax
and even though that's like a chain, it's still it's a local franchise.
He owns it.
Right.
Yeah, it's his.
So it's still a local business. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was.
And
they
did exterior signage, window vinyl.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna do
and
the
who
truck.
printed the signs on the inside? Was that the old owner, or was that Fast Signs also?
Yes, Paul Carlson. He did all of the framing and for the inside. Right. He did those pictures for us. Those were really cool. I like that touch.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah,
for sure. No, it looks good in there. Definitely, if no one's been out there, to go check it out. They're getting ready to work. They're working on beer and wine.
Yes, and that was another thing I was going to mention from a local standpoint. We're going to have a lot of local brewery craft beers that we're going to have in there too.
Gaming.
So we're going to have gaming. We're going to do catering. We're going to have a food truck. You got to take it one step at a time. You can't just blow everything up and then you got to get one thing smooth.
Be patient, people.
I know a lot of people.
The beer is coming.
Exactly. I know a lot of people have been asking for it, and it's just getting a liquor license is just we turnkeyed it. I bought it in January and opened in April.
Yeah.
If it was a normal, like you're building it from the ground up, we would have had a liquor license when we opened, but people are still coming in for the food. But that is definitely part of the plan, yes.
Yeah. Maybe we might even have the food truck out at our place one day a week. Still talking about that possibly out here at Upbox on the west side. So that'd be cool. A little lunch out here or something.
Yeah. We've definitely got some businesses that are already on board. Mm-hmm. So we've already got a demand for it. It's just a matter of I want to make sure it's done right. You got to get its own health department license and different
Oh, really?
things.
The food truck does?
Yeah. The food truck has to have its own health department license, and there's different regulations you got to do.
There's some weird food truck stuff that Springfield's put in place.
Yeah.
I don't know the specifics, but I've just heard people complain about different things with it and stuff.
Yeah.
As far as like where you can park or what what you're doing or whatever. I don't think you can be. Someone was telling me there's some rule you can't be like within so many feet of, what'd they say? Was it a restaurant? I don't know. I can't remember. But there's just all these weird things. Yeah. But that'll be cool. Food trucks are.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for what it's going to bring overall. We're just kind of in the infancy stage of what we're ultimately going to do.
For sure. Yeah. That's awesome.
And stay tuned. I'm not ruled out of definitely having some more wrestlers come in for autographs.
What was the Godfather?
Yeah, those that know me well. A lot of people know.
How was it with that? I was only in there briefly for the grand opening. First of all, how many people do you think came through on the grand opening? Because it was packed in there.
I would say at least 300.
That line was wrapped around the building.
I will tell you this. I know that he said he had 150 pictures he brought, and they were basically sold out within an hour.
Wow.
And people were bringing their own stuff too,
Nice.
and all of that kind of thing. So I would have to say at least 300 people rolled through there, if not more.
I would think that more.
Yeah.
If it was constant like that, because I came in.
And you can't really tell, like with my Square POS system, it'll just say new customers, but that's how many orders were rang up.
Right.
That doesn't necessarily mean
The
that's how
people.
many people you had.
Yeah, and everybody usually comes with somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted 500. I don't know if we got 500 people in there or not.
Yeah.
If we served 500, but I mean, we sold out of food in 4 hours.
Right. Had to shut down at it was like 6:30,
I mean, you can only do
think.
with smokehouses. Well, with smokehouses, you can only do so much capacity.
Yeah.
You
And it's
you
tough.
put
You
as
don't
much
wanna
as what you've
waste-
got in your warmers and things like that, and then when you people who know how barbecue and smokehouse work, you got to get there early.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so our prime time probably right now is between, I'd say, 4:30 to 6:30. For the most part. Sometimes you'll have the late, but in the summer you're going to have more of the late people. You're going to have the state fair.
Right.
You'll have other things.
So you open at 3.
Yes.
Did you think in not doing lunch that was it like a logistics thing, or did you think that there just wouldn't be the crowd, like enough people for lunch, or just out of curiosity?
A couple of different things. One is just based on my research. Most smokehouses don't do lunch unless you're a huge one in a big prime city.
Okay.
Just because, and one of the reasons for that is you have to do a certain amount of food.
Right.
You can't just do a little bit of food.
Mm-hmm.
So lunches are typically slower, and you don't have as heavier eaters in the
And
lunchtime.
it's not like you're by like a big state building or something filled with a bunch of people.
So even if you have a few people come in, then you got all that rest of the food is wasted. You can't use that for dinner because it's going to dry out.
Right.
So you get more of a following. You may open lunch on weekends. You just got to feel it out, but it's tricky. You got to start at nights and see what your volume is, and then possibly move into that at some point.
How about takeout? Takeout's big. Like people nowadays, can people call and like pre-order if they wanted like a bunch of ribs for say 4th of July or Memorial Day or something?
So people could come in and call ahead and pre-order, and that could give us an idea of if we need to cook more ahead of time. We need somewhat of a notice if it's going to be a really large order for the most part.
For sure.
We're eventually going to get DoorDash up and running. I'm in the works of doing that right now. But people can also call in a takeout ahead of time and then just come pick it up, and do something like that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely have those options. Again, a lot of things are just
Curbside.
in the works.
If someone wanted to have it brought out to their car.
If for
maybe.
some reason, you can park right up to the door.
Yeah.
So if somebody for some reason didn't want to come in, if they call and they say, "Will you bring it to my car?" Sure.
I guess no.
Yeah, we can walk right out.
Yeah, it's a nice little spot there. It's kind of tucked back, so people look for that street sign.
And also one of the things on the lunch side too is in the beginning we were already short staffed. As a lot of people know, it's been hard to get employees.
Everywhere I go, there's a hiring sign.
Yeah.
God, nobody wants to work.
So I didn't want to push the envelope
Yeah.
on that either. Let's see how the dinners flow, and then maybe at some point. But I think even during the week for lunchtime, I just don't. We're going to have the food truck for lunch. So therefore, if we have the food truck for lunch going certain places, people can still get our product.
Yeah.
But it's going to be on a little bit of a limited menu basis, but that's our lunch program, basically.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
Even if some days our lunch program is parking out in our parking lot,
Putting it out there, getting someone to see it, yeah. Getting some of that fresh smoke flowing. Mm-hmm. What was I going to say? Yeah, lost it. Lost my train of thought there. No, that'll be nice when that food truck's going. I'm excited for that, especially if it's just out here where it's close. Do you think that it'll ever expand? Will there ever be another IC BBQ someday?
I hope so. That's my retirement plan. I'm not opposed to franchising it because we've got a unique product. We've got unique recipes. We've got something that we have. It's kind of like what SmallCakes did in the beginning. The original, CEO, he came in, he opened his first, and now there's 200 across the country, and he licenses out the recipe book, and you go from there.
Yeah.
So if it catches on, if it gets popular enough, I definitely would. A lot of times how franchises start is somebody coming to you and saying,
I want to open one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crazy. Well, that's awesome. What else? Anything else? We hit on the SmallCakes.
Yeah.
Talked about that. IC's coming. Everyone be patient.
Oh, and
for
by
that
the way,
beer.
at IC BBQ, you can also get SmallCakes
Oh,
if
yeah,
you want
yeah.
to too. The cupcakes there. So
Co-swap there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that I definitely had
Yeah.
some on
I know that
when I was in there.
I know the person who makes all the financial decisions at SmallCakes. So I worked
Heard
out
he's a real ass. No.
yeah, I worked out a sweet deal.
Yeah. I mean, that is convenient, though, if somebody, for people that,
Yeah.
could somebody, I'm trying to think of how that went. That'd kind of be weird. But yeah, if somebody does want SmallCakes, definitely it's just right there at IC on the north end because there's not another SmallCakes. SmallCakes is your biggest days there. We just had Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Mother's Day
weekend was actually bigger than Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
That's what I was gonna say. Is that the biggest? I know I have a florist a friend who owns a floral company, and she said, "Yeah, Mother's Day is the biggest of the year."
It's turning into that.
And you would think Valentine's Day, especially with flowers, but
this last year, I think what hurt us on Valentine's Day, not necessarily hurt us, but it was a little bit different, is Valentine's Day was on a Sunday.
And I think she said that same thing. It was a little bit weird. She didn't do quite as good as she normally does.
Yeah.
And
even if
it
it's
was
a day,
kind of weird though.
Even if
Sunday.
it's a day during the week, you're already in the flow of things, so you would go out that night. But on a Sunday, most people are just like, I'm not leaving the house, kind of thing. So
and a lot of times assume stuff's not open.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah,
what
that's
I mean?
true too.
On
Yeah.
Sundays, a lot of times stuff's not open, so you
Yeah.
just kind of assume, or you're just in your routine, and nobody really goes out and does something on a Sunday. But yeah, SmallCakes, for those that don't know, is right there on Wabash, kind of across from the mall, next to like Do Chili. What else over there? Qdoba,
Yep.
Jersey Mike's.
Luxmas.
It's a good little spot. It's a good location right there.
Yeah.
Heavy
Yeah.
traffic.
Very good. A very prime spot.
Yeah, it's a nice spot.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. No, thanks. Thanks for having me. It's good to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, for sure. It's
and-
always kind of weird doing podcasts with somebody I already know, like the ins and outs of a lot of different things.
Yeah.
So like kind of walking through the questions of what would be interesting,
Right.
you know what I mean? Talking about it. But no, that's awesome. So, man, accounting, cupcakes, barbecue.
And I was very proud of the fact and somewhat surprised that I was nominated for Small Business Owner of the Year this past year too. For Shields Accounting.
Yeah.
Simply CBD was in there too. And
Yeah, we.
I didn't expect it, but that was pretty rewarding.
Oh yeah, I guess it was the same category. For some reason, I thought we were in different categories.
No, we were. You were in new and emerging, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I'm in, because my business was open for more than 5 years.
That's what I
so-
thought. I was like, wait, we weren't in the same category.
No.
I don't think.
No.
Then we would have been up there wrestling.
Yeah.
For the champion.
Yeah. I didn't do any politicking or anything, but
Yeah, I know. I hate politics, dealing with that.
Yeah.
Talking to people and trying to sway decisions.
yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. What's the best way? If someone's interested, Shields Accounting, Facebook. Is that the easiest spot? Website, Shields Account. Is it just shieldsaccounting.com or Shields Accounting Services?
Website is shieldsaccountingservices.com. Shields Accounting is the Facebook handle.
Okay.
So if you look at there, I have Facebook messages and I do stuff through the website where you can message me and it'll go to my email, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Business accounting, personal taxes.
Payroll, forensic,
You know.
basically anything and everything for the most part. Yeah.
All right. Oh, yeah. I didn't even ask at the beginning. Damn it. Anyway, all right. Hardest part of being a small business owner. I was supposed to ask you at the question and then get the answer at the end to get people, to stick around for the answer. But
Oh, okay.
but yeah, that's a question I try to remember to ask. But yeah, hardest part of being a small business owner. What do you think?
Having to accept the fact that you never have time off.
That's
That
good.
you are 24/7 whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and it's hard since there's only so many hours in the day.
You can take vacations, but you have to plan things. You have to plan things a lot differently as a small business owner than just if you're working a 9 to 5. It has its good and it has its bads. But I like the fact that I can run on my own way, my own decisions. But that probably is the most challenging and difficult part because you have to stay in the positive mode. The person who's texting you at 10 p.m. doesn't know that you've had 50 texts that day.
Right.
You know, so
it's like, God damn, quit texting me.
Yeah, and so sometimes I've caught myself in my tone verbally talking
Right.
on the phone, getting to a certain level.
Yeah.
But you know, I feel like I have a very not only loyal but understanding client base. Like they come to me for the value, so they understand how hard I work and how much I try to make sure that they get everything right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, that's tough.
tax season, everybody is tense. Everybody is, just, where's my return? And
Yeah.
is it done? And all of that. And I get all of that. The ability to manage your time is also one of the most challenging, which goes along with having to be, available more than normal hours. But time management is so critical.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to manage your
Using
time
that
properly,
calendar.
and if you can't get flustered,
Yeah. No,
all
it's
of that.
big.
Yeah.
I know I found myself even starting to try to schedule even like little tasks on my calendar.
Everything
you know
is
what I
on
mean?
my-
Instead of just meetings or shoots, I'm
No.
like, I just got to start putting everything on my calendar to make
Yep.
sure it's getting
Every single thing that's I need to do for somebody, I put on that calendar now,
Yeah.
like on my Google Calendar. So my assistants will be like, it's so saturated. And I'm like, you don't understand.
everything.
Sometimes I overbook times, but I try to make a bigger time just in case something gets in the way.
Right.
But I have to put everything on there, or else I will forget it because it's just you get turned around. You get turned around different directions. And
Understandable. Yeah, I know. I was telling you about that new software we're using, and that's one of the big things I think it's going to help with is the time, because right on it, you can assign people, you can assign tasks, you can create your list, what needs to be done for customers, and make like automation so the flow happens. You know what I mean? In your scenario, it probably wouldn't really matter this thing, but it's pretty cool. I think it's going to be awesome for us.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. We're just now kind of getting things rolling with it, but it should be pretty neat. It's amazing how much like just properly using a calendar or using the software can help just the flow of a business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and a software or anything is only as good as its.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what I was saying this earlier. Now we got it set up. Now we just have to make sure we're using the damn thing.
Yeah, well, and I'll use QuickBooks as an example. People are like, "Oh, QuickBooks sucks," and I'm like, "Well, did you know it could do this and look at this and look at that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's like there's I'm learning something new in QuickBooks every day. There's always new things to learn,
changing and adding.
Yeah, so it's all about the efficiencies
for sure. All right, well, check them out. Shields Accounting Services, IC BBQ Springfield is the handle for them, and SmallCakes Springfield, SmallCakes Champagne, SmallCakes Destin.
Yeah, I got
going nationwide here.
Close off with one thing that a client from Texas told me today. She put me out on Instagram and she said, "I'm the worst at taxes, so I got the best for it."
Nice, there it is.
Yeah,
that's a good little quote to end on. All right, thanks for joining today, Jason.
You bet. Take care.
Right.